It is time, it is time, it is time for the final part of this Minecraft mod. It's a medium, not a genre. It's not part-time, it's a lifetime. Ew, I felt like my mouth was drying of boredom. Dang, it would be cool to see this content be adapted by someone. Well, since I've known about this mod for a while, I decided to create my own adaptation of the Advent of Ascension bosses. And I really want to share them. First, I should mention that the original drawings I did for these bosses aren't in some old crate in my house or even left of the house I previously lived in. But you can actually find these drawings on my Instagram. Because my Instagram has some of the earliest contributions to it. I know it's a plug, but it's a plug with meaning. Anyway, let's do this. Yeah! So the first boss we have is Bane. We're starting off on the high note as this is one of my favorite alterations. I think I did a good job on the design. And keep in mind that not every design intended to be an exact replica of the original, as they were just meant for personal reveal. I gave him a personality of being a grumpy person, along with being a vegetarian. Yep, and I've drawn them multiple times. After that is the Baroness. I've only drawn her once, not too much of a fan. I don't think I designed her too interestingly. It's not bad, but it's definitely could be better. I made her unable to speak, and her two orbs speak for her very protectively. I've never even drawn her colored here until now. Clunker is next. I think he might have been my least favorite design. I've only drawn him once, and this is the first time I've colored him. I basically made him someone who loved making tricky puzzles that lead to injuries and failed. Nothing else to point out. Next is Corrales. I like her design, but this is my first time coloring and the second time drawing. Her personality is being a nagging mother and provides the littler versions of herself basically. And I personally find it a little uninteresting. I think she's fine. Next is Congander. Despite being pretty simple, I like his design quite a bit. I made him enjoy giving candy to people, but get really protective when someone treats it poorly. Maybe it's a late teen thing, which was the time which I made most of these drawings. But I made a lot of these bosses get super angry when they were feeling negative. After his Quaxis, my design isn't nearly as detailed as the original model, but I still think it is pretty cool. I made him really straight faced and willing to use his big sword when annoyed enough. I only drew him once. Next up is Crystal Core. I think his design is appealing and has a charm to it. I made him super vain, only caring about himself and not liking the idea of caring about someone else. Only drew him once. After that is Creep. We are finally on the boss that I colored before, along with drawing more than once. I like the design I gave him quite a bit. I made him very compassionate, along with having attractive pheromones to take advantage of his enemies, especially creepers. Not one of my favorites, but still good. After that is Dracion, another guy who I've drawn more than once, along with color. I really like his design, as it does a great job of supporting the personality he has. He's basically a mean, egotistical, cool guy that likes to show off. I like this boss as much as I like Creep, pretty much. Here comes the big boy. This is Elusive over here. He is definitely my favorite of all the adapted bosses. Like, I love his design. I've arguably drawn him more than any other boss. He is a cool party animal, and I made it so he has a bit of a rivalry with Bane. Very similar to Sans from Undertale, actually. Really? Anyway, he is my favorite, my absolute favorite. He was also the first redesign I've ever done for one of these bosses. I mean, he actually technically shares it with the redesign I did for Shadow Lord, which we'll get to later. Anyway, unfortunately, we're gonna have to stop talking about him now and talk about the 4 Guardians, which I'm not nearly as big of a fan of. I do like the little differences I came up with for the individual Guardians, but all of their personalities are just different ways of telling their opponent that they are ready to fight. I never do these guys more than once. Next is Graw. I wouldn't call him much of an improvement, not super big on his design. His deal is that he is a god over multiple people who worship him like nothing else. I only drew him once before. Keep in mind that, and I want to make this very clear, even though I'm not super big on every design, I am really glad that I made them in the first place, and would encourage you guys to do the same. There was actually a bit of a drought that I had where I was having trouble thinking of what to draw, and this definitely got me out of it. If I never decided to make these adaptations, I probably wouldn't know where to take my Instagram. Maybe even my artistic lifestyle overall. Yeah. So let's return to the bosses with Gyro. I feel like I've drawn this guy more than once before. I really like his design. Like how balloony it is. I made him intentionally look like a balloon. Call it ego stroking, but it was a genius move on my part to make Gyro a balloon instead of just an ordinary clown. It makes him a lot more interesting. He is corny. He's pretty corny as a prankster, in similar realms as Fawful from the Mario and Luigi series. Yeah. So, even though I don't like him as much as Elusive or Bane, he is still very great. After him is the Hive King. I like how simplistic his design is. It might even be one of my favorites. Maybe, just maybe. The debut I gave him on my Instagram was pretty amusing, I think. I don't really give him a lot of personality outside having minions. I've only drawn him once before. Okay, next is King Bam Bam Bam. He definitely has one of my favorite redesign, as it has a lot of personality and fits the already established colors well. He is really adorative, being the stereotype of most crazy kings. I've even drawn him more than once. I'd say I like him more than Gyro, but not more than Elusive or Bane. Speaking of favorites, next is King Shroomus. I think this guy is my favorite redesign of all of them. Wow, this design still holds up, considering how long ago I made these designs. I love the way that I differentiated from the mod's original model. I made this guy a mad scientist who acts nurturing with darker intentions. Oddly enough, the fact that he is named King Shroomus and isn't a king in my version kind of adds to the charm, in a weird, self-centered way or something. I've drawn this guy multiple times, even colored. Definitely colored. Definitely one of my favorite adaptations. And then we have Core. Probably as one of my least favorite designs. It looks too simple. Not really bad, by the way. In fact, looking back at it again, it looks a little better than what I originally thought. But this redesign is based on the original design for Core, as it was definitely different than the one we have now. His personality is similar to a caveman, as he acts very curious about new things. He does admittedly make sense for a mob in the Deeplands. He is lower than Gra, but not super great. After that, we have Mechbot. This guy has a lot more stuff in his redesign than I remember. I don't even mind though, because it really does help him look like a robot. And I find his design pretty cool in general, even if it does take a bit of time to redraw with all the different complexities in it. His personality is similar to Core as he gets curious around new items, along with liking to show other individuals the stuff he has. I technically only drawn him once. So next is the Netogenic Wither. I've only drawn him once, but I sort of colored him in that way. It's a little complicated to explain. I think his design is alright. His personality is just being a jerk, not too much to add. Now we have the Primordial 5. I made them serve as the overlookers for Dystopia. It's pretty hard to give a group of 5 individual personalities, with all of them like making all of them stand out from each other. And I actually really like how I went with the designs, like making them pretty different from each other. And on a much better note, we have the Rock Rider. This is definitely my second favorite boss adaptation, like with the first being Elusive. This is arguably the design that has the most differences from the original. Looking back, I don't know how I turned this little man on a gorilla creature into like a dog-like creature on another dog-like creature. But I love it. I love the design. I really love the personality I gave him. I made the guy on top act like he has tons of coffee. Like he is pretty hyper. Kelly? Yes, and I made it so his legs don't work, but he has a ton of strength in his arms. He mainly walks with his companion. The one on the bottom doesn't speak, but it is really fast. The two of them always stick together. This is the guy who I've drawn around the same amount of his Elusive, maybe even more. Yep, he is really great. Now going back to Shadow Lord, this is Shadow Lord. I really remember him in the original version of the mod, where this boss was considered a big finale of the mod. It's kinda crazy to think about. I really didn't help him keep that status. The design for him is not super threatening, but I do honestly like it. His personality is the trope of a deity or a god not understanding the modern world. He is overall fine. I think I've drawn him more than once too. Now we have the Skeleton Army, specifically Skeletron, another one of my favorites. I really like this guy. I like the design a lot I gave him too. I think I was really clear with how I transitioned his original model to this. He has a fun stereotypical coach attitude. I've drawn him multiple times. Next is Smash. I like the design that I gave him. I like the way I made his weapon look. His personality is being a kind of doofus who doesn't recognize his own strength. He's fine. After that is Tyrosaur. One thing I forgot to mention is that there were previously a ton of unused bosses in the mod's official wiki, and I made an adaptation of almost all of them. This is the only one so far that has been added to the game between the time I first designed him and now. I'm only including the ones that have officially been released in this video. And anyway, I'm not a super big fan of his design, and his personality is only centered around smashing things. Not too big a fan of him. Also, fun fact, the time when I first designed this guy, it was before he was introduced, so I had no idea he was like 2 blocks high at most, and so I thought he was like the super big giant. Anyway, as a Whiplash, this is Vinyl Corn. I like his design a lot. I think the design works well with his personality, where he is nice until you deny his ideas. Another one I really like. I've drawn him more than once. After that is Vigilant. I think its design is fine. Personality involves him being really thirsty for different waters and things and stuff. To give context, in the previous version of Blue Lunalist that I mentioned, the bottom of the world was composed of water, so his personality was supposed to be a joke about it. Now it's kind of, since it's no longer watery in there, the water's gone. The water loses its the context, the joke is not really there anymore. Yeah, he's one of my least favorites, honestly. And last up, we have Voxelon. I kind of like his design, how I interpreted the original. He is a super mysterious creature that doesn't speak and attacks people who come close. He's okay. I wish that the other bosses were added, and the previous ones weren't deleted, and I really liked quite a few of my adaptations. I don't know if you guys remember, but this section of the video is called Personal Work, and it doesn't just involve bosses. On my Instagram, I posted a comic series called Time to Charge that was about the Charger enemy from the mod. After surviving an attack from Minecraft Steve, the Charger decided to become the most powerful person in the world of Minecraft by making a huge base and defeating every boss. I got 3 chapters, 136 pages in, before I discontinued it. I mainly did that because Advent of Ascension was having multiple updates around the time. They changed up enough things about the game that I couldn't get them to fit into the already established story of mine. The comic, in my opinion, had too many pages which just involved talking and exposition, which didn't help the already minimalistic art and how nothing really happened in between those talking scenes visually. Also, the rules of the Minecraft world were kind of all over the place. But like my boss adaptations, I'm glad I chose to do it, as it helped me find a way to continue drawing. And I got to get better scope on why I love Advent of Ascension. It is pretty impressive that one mod can give me such memorable bosses and characters. Maybe that's why I chose to come up with you guys. Thanks a lot for making my work a bit more entertaining. You're welcome. The future, we have unimaginable. I'm gonna go to bed. Have fun. So thanks guys for watching the video. It took me months to make all 3 of them. Check out my Instagram if you want to see the stuff I alluded to. Might as well also check out my Twitter, and I guess you'll see this little artist later. And we'll fight, keep defending through the night. Oh, we'll fight the good fight, live. We're all driven to survive, so we'll fight the good fight. I'll keep going, just stay by my side.